Hello, welcome back to Dumb Jocks with Mike and Mike. Going to be doing some MLB recap for the month of May, see how stuff went, talk about some things.
2 months. 2 months into the year, the unofficial 33% of the way mark.
I'm mainly just going to be throwing stuff off of this guy who knows a lot more about baseball than I do.
I bet that shows how little you know, because I don't know that much.
You know a lot more than me. It surprises me every time. So we're going to start in the NL because I like the AL more and actually know that. So let's start with stuff I really don't know.
Okay.
Just by looking at stuff, like one thing that surprises me, Diamondbacks second in the West, only a game, or right now half a game behind the Dodgers.
It is. I was not terribly surprised. I think I picked them to be a playoff team before the year. I know I was very high on them compared to how other people felt, but I think part of this is their schedule. They've not faced their month of May. They didn't have anybody you'd consider particularly tough. 3 games at Pittsburgh while they were slumping. They're the only kind of, I guess, real team I'd say they faced is Boston, and they lost 2 out of 3.
I'm a real team, baby.
But, I mean, 10 games over 500 in that division, only a half game behind the Dodgers, who they did beat in April, although the Dodgers hadn't quite stepped on it yet. It's impressive what they're doing, sustainable. I believe they're top 10 in pretty much every pitching category. If I could find that.
Well, like who?
7th in ERA right now. They currently have a 75% chance to make the playoffs.
Well, they're losing to the Rockies at the moment, down 1-0.
At this exact moment, they are.
Yeah, down 1-0, bottom of the 5th.
But I think I want to go. I wish John was here for this one. We got to talk about one of their division rivals.
I was going to say, with them in second, I can't believe
we got to talk about San Diego.
All the way down there, second to last, fourth in the division, 2 games behind in the wild card, 2.5.
You know what? It's early. I know. This is a concerning start for this team.
They were supposed to be considered to have the best lineup in baseball.
This was a team people thought was going to go to the World Series. I was a lot lower on them. I was like, I see 85 wins and a lot of question marks. And if these question marks are not, if these question marks are answered, this is a 100-win team. If they're not, this can tailspin and be a 70-win team. And I don't think they're quite in panic mode yet. But I mean, this team has struggled, and they have not faced in the month of May. In the month of May, they did not face good teams. They faced very good teams, but I mean, they got blown off the field a few times. Dodgers. They faced the Dodgers 6 times. They went 1-5. They lost a series to Kansas City. Kansas City's barely a baseball team.
With Kansas City, they have 17 wins.
They lost to Boston. They lost to the Yankees. They just lose to everybody. Before the year, I said this team. If they are sub 500 by the All-Star break, this can tailspin quickly. And I'm not saying this is going to tailspin. Juan Soto's putting it together. But you know what? Upcoming schedule, Marlins, they beat them today. Cubs, Mariners, Rockies, Guardians. They don't sort this out. This is going to tailspin.
Oh,
and this is going to be a disaster. And I mean, where's the help coming from? This isn't the injuries. This isn't guys not hitting. Juan Soto's an MVP candidate right now. Fernando Tatis is hitting. Xander Bogaerts is hitting. Manny Machado's hurt, but he was hitting. There's no one coming back from injury that's going to reignite this team. These are guys need to figure it out.
No, yeah, they just got to put together at the same time. And it just seems like the pitching's probably really low or blowing something, I guess.
So it looks like they just haven't clicked. I haven't watched the Padres.
They probably just haven't clicked together.
It looks like they've just not clicked at the same time. You got a game here against the Reds. They lost 8-7. Then they have a game. 2 weeks later, they lost 2-0. It just feels like they haven't been able to get everything clicking at once.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
And I still think they can. But I think if it doesn't happen in the next 2 weeks, if
Well, that's the thing too.
We get to June 16th. They face Tampa. If they're sub 500 by then, we're gonna have a problem. And I think then you hit the panic button.
All right, so panic buttons. All right,
because they have 3, 5, 8, 11 games against sub 500 teams before then.
All right, it sounds
9 games. 9 games. Seattle's above 500.
Seattle's probably right around the line.
Right above 500.
Yeah, they're probably right around the line.
So if we get there and they're still 4 or 5 games under 500 like they are now, it is time to hit the panic button.
All right. Are there other teams in the NL that you're really worried about?
Yeah.
Like I was going to say, the Phillies jumping out 25-31 to me.
These New York Mets.
The Mets.
I guess we'll talk about them and the Phillies because I'm equally concerned about both teams.
No, that's fine. We can go with Mets first. What's the thing with the Mets?
They're not playing well. That's the thing with them. I mean, I know they've picked it up lately. They swept Cleveland. They took one from Chicago. Then they lost to Colorado, and they just swept Philadelphia. But, I mean, this team was 500 in looks like they were sub 500 in May, if I can get their May record. Without needing to count everything. They were 14-15 in May. Let me read out to you the teams they faced. Atlanta they split with, okay. They got swept at Detroit. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Rockies, lost 2 out of 3 to the Reds, split 4 games with the Nationals, took 2 out of 3 from Tampa, okay. Swept Cleveland, lost 2 out of 3 to the Cubs, lost 2 out of 3 to the Rockies. Like, they struggled with, I'm willing to bet, one of the easiest stretches of schedule the entire month. Probably. Tampa excluded. There is Tampa and Atlanta. There's not a single team there that you put money on making the playoffs this year. And this is, I know they got the injuries. They had Verlander. I don't know if he's come back yet.
No. I just mean, like, they seem like a well-rounded team to me.
Mets were a very well-rounded team. I mean, the only big injury left on this team is Edwin Diaz, and he's probably out for the year.
Yeah, he's just gone.
Assume. This is a team like the Padres to me. They have to figure it out. And I'm sorry, I need to see more than sweeping Philadelphia.
Okay.
These next 2 weeks for the Mets are important because you know what? This is not the easy stretch of schedule they had last month. This is Toronto, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, the Yankees, St. Louis, Houston.
All right, so
that's their next 3 weeks. That is not the stretch you had last month.
No, they have to get out of that at least 500.
Your 3 game, if you can go 500 that stretch, I look at you really very different,
right? Yeah,
I'd look at you very differently if you can. Take,
that's impressive. It would be nice.
But Philadelphia, I think I'm more concerned about, or I'm equally concerned, but less surprised. Because I was very low on Philadelphia compared to everybody else. I was like, this was a 500 team last year. I think they won 85 games was the total. They got hot in the playoffs, and they rode it to a World Series. But I didn't see the run it back that everybody expected. I didn't see that from them because I thought they were clearly second behind Atlanta. And I said they were a close third behind the Mets.
Yeah. That division is very difficult at this point.
They're also a team. 87 wins last year is the total.
Okay. I think they should still end up around there by the end of the year.
I think they should, but I mean, I would say this is not a team should be sub 500 right now.
No,
this is a team. This team is one game ahead of the Nationals.
I think their pitching has to figure it out.
They're one game ahead of the Nationals. Their pitching has to get it going.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I see.
Aaron Nola, ERA close to 5, can't have that. Ranger Suarez, ERA in the 7s. Taijuan Walker, Zach Wheeler, both struggling. Wheeler's had a couple of good starts, but hasn't been able to consistently go this year. And this bullpen is still a mess. Gregory Soto was your big offseason move.
Yeah.
Craig Kimbrell, shout out, congratulations, 400 saves. Congratulations to him. He got kind of overshadowed by Kenley doing it 2 weeks earlier.
Definitely got overshadowed by Kenley doing it 2 weeks earlier. Definitely happened. Didn't they both do it against 4 teams they used to play for?
I believe they both did it against the Dodgers, yeah.
Yeah.
Was Kimbrell on the Dodgers?
At some point, yeah.
I don't think so.
So
he was Atlanta, Boston, San Diego, Boston. Was he on the Dodgers last year?
Did Kenley Jets ever play in Atlanta?
I believe he did last year, yeah.
Did they both play? Was it versus Atlanta? I thought it was versus Atlanta.
No.
I could be wrong.
Maybe. I feel like Atlanta never loses, though. But I mean, this team needs to start hitting. Bryce Harper rushed back from Tommy John for this.
Yeah, okay. That's even worse. How's he doing? Is he doing okay? Like hitting wise and stuff?
He's hitting .315.
Oh, all right. That's fine.
For a team that was so heavily invested in their offense and prioritized it over defense, the offense is just not going. And I don't know what another team, I don't know where the relief's coming. I think Harper will get healthy throughout the season, obviously. I don't know if that's enough to get this team out of a hole they've dug themselves into.
I don't know if they can get out of it either. That's they're not that impressive. They're in a very hard division.
This team is 24th in run differential. They're 12th in batting average. How are you?
That's crazy. It doesn't seem like they're that bad.
They're 23rd in ERA, 19th in WHIP.
Oh, dude, wow. They're getting smacked around. Well, I think their pitching needs to figure out this pitch clock or something, dude. I don't know what's giving them so much trouble.
I think that is part of it, and I also feel like this offense has series. They just don't show up. I think that is a real problem here. It's hot and cold, and that's the risk you take when you have a series of power hitters like this. Castellanos, Schwarber. Bryce Harper is not purely a power hitter, but Rhys Hoskins, who was hurt now, but he was hitting. Look at the Yankees of the last few years. A lot of power hitters. You know what happens? Go on stretches, they're hot. Go on stretches, they're cold.
Very cold.
All right, and it can switch on a dime.
Yeah, and
and you know what? Those hot stretches can last a month. Those cold stretches can last 2 months.
The cold ones can last a while. They really do bring you down. And
this is a team.
They are very power heavy.
Very power heavy team, and they're in a hitter's ballpark. They play in hitters' ballparks all the time in that division.
Yeah. Very true.
They're 21st in home runs. Bottom third? Bottom third? Are you kidding me?
Where are the Braves and the Mets?
I gotta search that up.
No, that's fine.
I'm willing to bet the Braves are in the top 10 though, because they're great at everything.
Yeah, they're probably pretty. And that's the division you're playing in. You have to be that good.
You're 3.5 back of Miami.
No, yeah, they're behind Miami.
You're a game ahead. You're a game ahead of the Nationals. You're a game ahead of the Nationals, a team actively not trying.
Actively
not to say the players aren't. The front office doesn't care about this season, though.
No, yeah. I know, yeah, sports.
Like, I can't even give you a point in time for when I'm concerned about the Phillies. Because I'm concerned about the Phillies right now.
Always holding concerns about the Phillies.
Yeah, when you assemble the team they did, I'm always concerned this is going to drop.
Okay.
And you know what? The schedule's not getting any easier. Washington, Detroit coming up, and then you got Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Atlanta, and the Mets. This is not going to be a fun month.
No, not even a little bit for them. And the pitching has to start getting some outs and figuring that out. And then the offense, they're just going to build for power. I guess they're just hoping for it, man. They're just hoping for at least a one solo home run at some point. You know, like anything.
What is this team's rank in on-base percentage?
Probably freaking
19th.
Damn.
However, they're 5th on batting average on balls in play. So when they make contact, it's going in play. Trouble is they're just not making contact. 27th in strikeout percentage.
27th?
27th.
Damn. Can't strike a guy out at all.
No, that's
Oh, that's them getting struck out?
Them getting struck out.
Oh, my Lord, Jesus Christ, hit the fucking ball. Oh, my Lord.
I don't even have word. I knew they weren't hitting. I didn't expect that.
I didn't expect that either. That surprised me a lot.
Miami's, I think, statistically the luckiest team in the history of the world. Because I'm pretty sure they're bottom 10 in everything. They're just a game over 500.
Oh, whatever gets you there.
Well, yeah, I mean.
Whatever gets you some wins, baby.
If it ain't broke, but it's definitely broke. And Washington, I'm not even going to waste time.
No, that's fine. Let's jump to the
Let's jump to the Central, which is the best division in the league, but for the complete opposite reason as the other best division in the league. Whereas the AL East, every team can win it because they're all good. This team, everybody can win it because they all suck.
Because they're all basically sub 500, just over the two.
The Cubs here are ranked 3rd to last in the entire National League, and they're only 4.5 games back of the division.
No, yeah, the Rockies and the Nationals would fit right in that division. That's crazy. So who steals it, dude? Who do you think steals? Who's actually good? Who's not the pretender here?
I think I was wrong about the Cubs. I don't think this is a playoff team.
You know, okay. They don't.
I mean, this was a tough month. I will give them that. But I mean, this team they had 2 different 6-game losing streaks this month. Two different 5-game losing streaks. Excuse me.
6-game losing streaks.
I get the teams were the Twins and the Astros, and then the Mets and the Reds. I get that. Those are tough teams. You cannot drop 10 games like that. A month ago, I was saying I thought you might climb Milwaukee, who had a tough month in their own right.
Nowhere near it.
Like, figure it out. The bats need to start moving again. Pitching has kind of faltered, but that was to be expected. They had some guys playing out of their mind.
No, and I think that's it too. I think once those guys kind of stopped, I don't think they have the offense to carry them.
I think the Cubs are an interesting team. Probably in the next couple of weeks, we're going to start looking ahead to the trade deadline. Marcus Stroman might be the most interesting player, except for somebody we're going to get to in a little bit. Putting together a phenomenal season for the Cubs. Throwing shutouts, it feels like every 3 or 4 starts.
Oh, okay.
St. Louis is sorting it out for themselves. They're slowly getting back there. They had such an ugly month of April. I mean, this record is not going to look good until probably early July, just because of how bad April was.
All right.
But I think that's the organization here I have the most trust in.
Okay.
But I want to talk about these Reds, and that's not a sentence I thought I was going to say this year.
You want to talk about the Reds?
This team is showing some fight. I'm not saying they're going to make a playoff run here, but it's a young team. I like a lot of the young talent they have. Tyler Stevenson is maybe turned into the most underrated catcher in baseball. One of the best hitting catchers I think I've seen in years. And I mean, what I like about this team is when they face teams far better than them, they don't roll over and die. All right, they got blown out by the Padres twice. Went out and took 2 games in that series. They didn't just kind of just be like, all right, this series is a wash. You know,
try again next week.
Yeah, see you on Friday. You know, they took 2 out of 3 from the Mets. They took 2 out of 3 from Miami. You know, they got swept by the Yankees, came back, took 3 out of 4 from the Cardinals. They swept the Cubs, have won the last 2 against Boston, faced Boston again tonight. You know, it doesn't seem like this team's ever out of the game.
No,
and that's a feeling you don't get about a lot of young teams, especially a team that is in 3rd place. But I think this is a team with nothing to lose. Hunter Green has really bounced back, had a tough start against, I want to say it was the Cardinals, middle of May. Has really bounced back since then. He almost beat the Yankees, and I was very concerned about that. But they're figuring it out. I don't know if I see them quite as the team that can make the playoff run yet, but I think they're going to be a factor late into August and into September.
There'll be somebody you have to worry about a little bit.
Pirates, we got to do a separate episode on the Pirates. That's just a bizarre story. They had like 22 wins in April, and they only have 28 on the season.
I was going to say, I feel like they fell off.
Yeah, that's a way to put it. Milwaukee, I don't really have any thoughts on Milwaukee. It's just kind of the Brewers. They're hovering around 500. I feel like they do this every year. They usually have a 4-week stretch from the middle of July to the middle of August where it feels like they don't lose a single game, and that gets them into the playoffs. And they just haven't hit it yet. I think I look at Milwaukee and St. Louis as the favorites.
Well, let's go to another wide open division. Jump all the way over to the AL
That could be any division in the
AL Central.
I mean, Kansas City, non-factor. Chicago, non-factor. This is down to 3 teams that I don't think I would have picked Detroit to be in there. I haven't actually watched the Tigers at all this season. I don't know quite how they're hanging around. It looks like they're just beating other bad teams, and I don't know how impressed I am with that.
They just haven't hit a hard stretch yet.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can sweep a series on the road is impressive, but I mean, at Kansas City, how much stock are we gonna put in that?
Nah, but half the thing
half
baseball,
of being a good team is beating
beating the bad ones.
Being a good team is beating bad teams, but you haven't had to face the good teams yet. Actually, that's a lie. They faced Texas and they lost 2 out of 3.
Yeah, at least they didn't get swept.
They didn't get swept. They got blown out a couple of times, but they didn't get swept. Cleveland is the team I am most concerned about in all of baseball right now.
Concerned in all of baseball. The Cleveland Indians.
Guardians.
Oh, I knew it too. As I said it, I knew it.
What happened? I think Jose Ramirez is the only hitter that knows the season started. Because I feel like every day I'm seeing 6 innings, 2 runs. 5 innings, 1 run from this rotation, and the offense puts up like 2 runs.
Yeah, the offense doesn't really put much together, huh?
24th in average. 29th in runs scored. Reminder, Oakland's probably 30th. So among real baseball teams, you're the worst in runs scored. 30th in home runs. You're worse than Oakland. 29th in RBIs. 30th in slugging percentage. Your pitching staff ranks 8th. So somebody start hitting. I don't know what else to say.
I only see 2 games where I go, oh, they actually put up some runs. And one of them was a 9-10 loss to the Mets. The other one was a 8-6 win over the Angels. Otherwise, they couldn't. I don't think they got over 5 runs.
Jose Ramirez might be the only plus hitter on this team.
That wouldn't surprise me right now.
I didn't expect this team to be, world beaters on offense. I didn't expect them to rank in the top 5. Rank 11th or 10th. Be respectable.
At least
You're
halfway
30th.
there.
You're 30th.
Literally last.
You're dead last. There's nowhere to go but up.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. They already hit rock bottom. So, now all we gotta do is move up. Slow and steady. Pass one at a time.
Figure it out. If they don't figure it out, though.
They have just as many runs as the Oakland Athletics.
I think I had seen that stat somewhere the other day, and I was just like, there's no way that's accurate.
There's just no
And then
way.
I looked through their game logs, and I was like, you know what? That might be accurate.
That might be accurate. 200 runs.
200 runs, 55 games in. That's less than 4 runs a game.
That is less than 4. Oh, my Lord. That's a terror. I just went through the month of May. They only scored over 5 runs twice.
And, yeah,
and the 31st was 5 runs. That was it. And there were 2 other ones over 5.
And, you're not getting you open the month tough, Yankees and Twins. You weren't getting a friendlier stretch of schedule, though. Detroit, L.A., the other L.A. team, the White Sox, the Mets, White Sox again, St. Louis, Baltimore to close. You weren't getting a friendlier stretch than what you had between the Yankees and Orioles.
Yeah, they were getting.
You weren't getting an easier stretch. And you know what? You know what you get in a week? You get the Astros.
Yep. They get some real competition coming up.
All right. You know what your reward is after the Astros? The Diamondbacks.
No,
I have faith in this organization because they've been well run for quite a few years. But this is concerning what I'm seeing from this lineup, or I guess what I'm not seeing.
No, that's fair.
I think if we get a month from now and we're still having this conversation, I think Shane Bieber is going to get traded.
That would be a crazy piece to be moved.
Because he's a free agent, I think, at the end of this season or next season anyway.
No, yeah.
They're not going to trade Jose Ramirez.
He's the person that would get traded. I agree. I think, looking at it, it's just a matter of what playoff teams need the pitcher.
Yeah, really. And then these Twins, they hit a little bit of a funk middle of May. They did bounce back, though. I will give them credit. 2 out of 3 from Houston is always impressive. They hit a little bit of a funk against the Cubs, the Dodgers, and the Angels. I don't question anything on the Twins, except can they keep it up? Carlos Correa is getting going. Byron Buxton, I think he's just going to DH now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Surprised. He usually does really good at.
He's usually a very good defender, but I feel like every time I watch the Twins, he's DHing.
lot of running out there, gives them, time. But I think they're the team that wins the division and ends up winning it. Just by looking at everything, I like the Twins.
They're the only team here I would. They're the only team here I wouldn't bet against. I wouldn't bet against the Guardians because I respect the organization and the front office and how well run they are. Twins is the only team I don't bet against.
Okay. You want to go to a different 3-team race?
Let's go to the West.
4.
Let's go to the West. Houston. I don't want to talk about Oakland.
Dude, Seattle, why? I bet against them every day.
Do you actually?
I've been doing it, dude. My friend started at the beginning of the season. He got up like $300 off of $10 bets. And I was like, well, damn, I guess that's the train, dude. They can't win. I was talking to my friend about it the other day, and he goes, how many wins do you think they have? I go, I don't know, dude, probably like 6. And he goes, that's absurd. You know how far into the season we are? There's no way they'll have 6 wins. We look it up, they had 11. And he goes, I'm mad. I'm sorry, I got so mad at you.
I got a fun fact for you, I guess, about the Athletics, depending on your definition of fun. No team had ever lost 40 games before June 1st in a season, and they lost 46. So let's talk about Seattle, though.
Oh, I love it.
And my tone's going to change because you know what? Seattle's only 2 games over 500, and that is disappointing for me. But you know what? The brutal part of their schedule's over.
Starts to get a little bit easier for them.
Starts to relax here. You know, they got 3 with Texas. That's not easy. Then they got Padres, Angels, Marlins, White Sox, Yankees, and Orioles again. Then the Nationals. You know, that is not the stretch they had. They had Houston, Texas, Detroit when they were hot, at the Red Sox, at the Braves, Oakland, Pittsburgh, New York. That's a tough month. You know, it definitely laxes on them here. Julio Rodriguez is getting going. My pick for MVP in month of April might have cost him that. Very sad.
So quick, huh?
I mean, way it was a few years ago. One bad month cost you the MVP.
No, you're not wrong. I'm just, it happens quick, especially if it happens that early in the year.
You know, I think this is a team I do look at. I think they're pointing straight up. To come out of that stretch they had and they're 29-27 overall, I think that's a huge, huge plus for this team. And I think we're going to see a little bit of a heater from them next few weeks. The Angels are the Angels.
Yeah,
it's the only way I can put it. They beat the bad teams. They lose to the good teams.
Luckily, there's a lot of bad teams this year around.
Unfortunately, they haven't really faced them. Also, it looks like they kind of lost to bad teams, too.
Probably did.
They got swept against
two of the best players on the earth.
You have the 2 best players in the world. 2 of the 3, depending on how you view other players. You got swept at home by the Marlins.
I'm not sure who the third is.
Yeah, swept at home by the Marlins.
They got swept by Miami.
At home.
Sometimes stuff's just funny, dude. That's hilarious.
Sometimes I look at this team, and I think that's good, and then I see something immediately after, and I think that's not
good.
I'm just gonna go through their month of May. Sweep at the Cardinals. That's good. That's
great.
Good. 3 extra wins. Lose 2 out of 3 to the Rangers. Not great. Lose 2 out of 3 to Houston. Respectable. Lose 2 out of 3 to Cleveland. How? Split 2 with the Orioles. Take 2 out of 3 from the Twins. That's good. Sweep the Red Sox. That's good. In a 6-game stretch against the Marlins and White Sox, go 2-4? What the hell are you doing?
The Marlins and the White Sox, they went 2-4. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. It's a 23-win team to like 29. They should be better. They should be better than that.
This is not.
They should be leading their division or tied for the lead. Like 6 games back.
They're closer than Seattle, and I have far more faith in Seattle than I do the Angels.
Which blows my mind.
And it's crazy. Because if we rank all 52 guys on those rosters, the Angels have the top 2.
Wild. Absolutely ridiculous.
Figure it out. Either figure it out.
For the sake of baseball.
Either figure it out or trade
trade
Ohtani and Mike Trout. For their sake and for baseball's sake. Figure it out or trade them. Houston is kind of boring to talk about. They're great. Everybody knows it. These Rangers, though, I was higher on Texas than John was, and I didn't see this coming.
But they're killing it.
Are you aware, Mike?
Probably not.
They have the second best record in all of Major League Baseball.
Behind the Rays?
Behind the Rays.
Wow. No, I did not know that.
I mean,
baseball, huh?
I don't even have words. I didn't expect to see a Rangers team that in the beginning of June I'd be
They're
looking
just,
at.
I think, all working together well.
Everything is clicking for this team. Is it fully sustainable?
Because nothing stands out.
Is it fully sustainable?
Oh,
it might be. I mean, Corey Seager, he's not going to hit. I think he's batting 1,000 in his last week, it feels like. That's not going to keep up. But, I mean, Marcus Semion's back to being Marcus Semien. The MVP player, I feel he is and should be. Adolis Garcia is a guy we do need to talk about more. He's played 55 games. He's got 49 RBIs. Is that good?
Sounds ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm no mathematician.
That's almost an RBI a game.
Let's see. 49 divided by 55. I've never been good at math.
Dude, just
roughly,
do it real quick.
roughly
You're at 0.95.
Roughly 0.8 times 62. That's about 130 RBIs in a season.
Oh, you're doing how many out? Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. So is he in the MVP race? Is this how this works? How's he do? He's only batting 257.
I don't know that I think because he's a replacement level fielder. I don't think he's quite the MVP candidate. Maybe he would be if he was just a DH for them. But I mean, the starting rotation is unreal. Nathan Eovaldi, I think he's thrown 4 shutouts this season.
No, the pitching, I think Eovaldi's going to have to fall off at some point.
And John Gray's a guy, he's been around forever, it feels like. You look at Colorado, mid-2010s, I want to say. ERA sub-3 right now.
Damn.
If I told you before the year they were going to have arguably the best rotation in the league,
I wouldn't believe you. No.
And
I don't care that Jacob DeGrom starts.
If I told you they were going to do this without Jacob DeGrom,
I know, and
you would have had me tested
it
immediately.
I would have told you you're crazy.
I mean, I think this is sustainable for them. Andrew Heaney, I mean, the Dodgers, I don't know what the Dodgers did to him, but they fixed him after the Yankees broke him in 2019. I don't want to revisit that.
I think the only one that, Nathan Eovaldi's getting up there, man. So, I can't see him.
I think he might be.
How great
I think he's younger than DeGrom.
Probably is, man. I wanted him on my team. That's besides the point. But otherwise, I don't.
And I mean, this AL Wild.
I don't even see DeGrom pitch anymore.
Say that again.
I feel like you don't even see DeGrom pitch anymore. I feel like it doesn't play. You know what I mean? He's always out and hurt and shit. Eovaldi's at 11. He's at 6. Man, dude, the guy's just a machine, dude. He's a horse.
Oh my god! Next Friday to Saturday, Friday through Sunday, June 9th through 11th. Rangers Rays 3-game series.
That's a good one.
I think I'm gonna watch every game of that series.
That's a very good series.
And I mean, this is the test for Texas, I guess, coming up this month. Seattle, St. Louis, talked about Tampa, Angels, Blue Jays, White Sox, Yankees, and then at the end of the month, Astros.
Just got to keep it
You know what? Go 500 this month, and I'll call you a World Series threat.
That pans out to me. That'll be a good number at that point.
And, Mike, let's now go to the best
division in baseball. Features both of our favorite teams.
Best division in baseball history? Very possibly.
I don't know that much. I don't have enough knowledge of baseball history to say that statement.
Mean, all 5 teams being above 500, even this early in the season, is wild.
Do you think they can all finish over 500?
I don't think that's just mathematically. I don't think that can happen. I think this is possible that the lowest team wins like 79 games, though. 79, 80 games.
Okay. That's crazy.
I mean, one of these 3 teams is going to miss the playoffs. One of these 4 teams, I guess.
One of these 3 most likely will end up.
Between Tampa, Baltimore, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, and the Red Sox, 2 of these teams are going to miss the playoffs.
Unless Houston or...
Because I think Houston and Texas have both kind of got spots with their names on it, unless they kind of stumble.
Well, that's unless they fall off.
Because you know what? The Central's not sending a wild card team in.
No, not even a little bit. To win that division.
Where do you want to start with this team, Mike?
I'm most surprised by the Blue Jays. Given, like I said, I'm surprised, but 30-27 isn't that bad at all. No. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. Like, it's weird to say it that way, but, like, I thought they would be, I can't even – at 30 wins, I thought you'd be right around there. I didn't think Baltimore would have 35, though.
I think Baltimore's the most surprising.
I think they're the most surprising one now that I'm really saying it out loud. Dude, that's crazy.
Baltimore is the we should have seen it coming.
Okay.
I feel you. Everybody thought they were going to be good.
I thought it was a couple more years for them, though.
Everybody thought they were going to be good. Nobody could agree on how good. Me and John were both thinking they would be, closer to where, Tampa or not Tampa, where Toronto is. They'd be around 500 most of the year. They'd be a factor in the playoff race. This team right now, 14 games over 500.
Mm-hmm.
They go 500 for the rest of the year. They win 88 games.
Yeah. And they're the best wild card team.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, okay. I just meant in theory.
And in theory.
It's where they are.
At the moment, they are, yes.
Yeah. In theory. But then, like you said, I think Baltimore and Toronto are the 2 I think I would have flipped from 2nd and 4th. I think that's how I'd be a lot less surprised by how it looks if that happened.
Toronto's just kind of had a weird month here. Just looking at it, I didn't watch them a whole lot outside of the weekend they faced the Yankees. But I mean, they opened the month. The Yankees went 3 out of 4.
Good job, Mike.
Thank you. I didn't do anything though. They opened the month in Boston. I did watch. I watched it so hard. I ate so much popcorn you have no idea.
Oh, okay.
They opened the month.
Go-to snack.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you go now.
They opened the month of May in Boston. They got swept. Then they sweep Pittsburgh. Got swept at Philadelphia. Swept Atlanta. 3 out of 4 to the Yankees. Got swept by Baltimore. Lost 3 out of 4 to Tampa. The one game they won it 20-1 though. Then they took 2 out of 3 from Minnesota, and just took 2 out of 3 from Milwaukee.
Like, you go through that, it's not bad at all. That's winning and getting.
It feels like this team's either getting everything or nothing.
Okay.
They're either sweeping or they're getting swept. It's very weird to sweep Atlanta and then come back and lose in a 7-game stretch against the Yankees and Orioles, win 1 game.
Kind of wild, yeah.
It's wild. But I mean, this is not going to get easier for them. They don't have a break in their schedule until Oakland on the 23rd. Mets, Astros, Twins, Orioles, Rangers, Marlins. We'll see what Miami is at that point. But you don't have a break for 2 weeks. Players only meetings being called. You're picking fights with the Yankees. I kind of just figure it out. Can you strike a balance of saying, okay, we're not going to sweep or get swept. We'll take 2 out of 3. We'll take 2 out of 4.
Yeah.
Just stay afloat until you get hot. Vladimir Guerrero hasn't really gone to what we all know he can do. Bo Bichette is the best. I think he's going to lead the league in hits for like the 5th straight year.
Probably.
Bo Bichette's great.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Bo Bichette's good. I don't think we all appreciate how good Bo Bichette is, though. Got a great name, too. This pitching does need to figure it out, though. I don't know what.
Was it Gasson who was falling off a cliff at one point? There are a couple of guys that aren't looking good.
Alek Manoah. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, no, he's looked like shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they need to figure that. The pitching is what they really need to be put together. Like that's, I think,
if this pitching staff can figure it out to the level I think they can get to, this is a 100-win team.
Still,
this is maybe not at this point. I don't know that they have a 70-35 run in them, but I think they can still win 90 games.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I was thinking of.
Yeah, but I mean, can you go 500? Can you go 500 against the bad teams, or 500 against the good teams, and 700 against the bad teams? Because you know what, this is a team. I can't look at this schedule and say they've gotten everything they should get. Because you know what, they lost 2 out of 3 to Detroit. You got to beat the bad teams. Because then it doesn't hurt you as much to lose 2 out of 3 to the Yankees, to lose 3 out of 4 to the Yankees. All right, that doesn't hurt you so much if you didn't get swept by Philadelphia.
Yeah. Like you got to beat the bad teams to be a good team.
All right, you got 6 games coming up with the Mets and Astros. Can you salvage 2 or 3 of them? Because you know what? You're only a game ahead of the Red Sox. You lose 5 of these 6 games, Boston's going to climb over you.
Kind of how that division's been going this year.
Every team's just been up and down. So Rays are going. They've kind of come back down to earth in May.
Yeah, but they worked there.
I said when we did our April recap, I think they won the division in April.
Yeah,
it does look likely now. They did kind of stumble middle of May. The Orioles in second place, 4 games back. Yankees in second place, 6 games back. It seems likely one of those teams will catch them at some point, unless they have another 16-game win streak in them, which I'm not ruling out.
Well, I think even if they catch them, I think that's going to be when they're getting hot. And they'll be able to cool when that team cools off. The Rays will still just be moving. They might catch them and threaten, but I don't think Tampa really completely loses it.
I also think it's worth. Me and John did touch on it when we did our April recap. They didn't really face any good teams in April, outside of Boston hadn't quite figured it out yet. Toronto hadn't quite stepped on it yet.
They started off
Houston's
nice and
never
hot.
good in April.
They were like, we started off strong.
They struggled against the Yankees this month. They were 4-3 against the Yankees. That's quite a step down from a 16-game win streak. They lost their series to Baltimore. They beat the Dodgers in a 11-10 game. I don't know how I missed that one. I
ignored.
Yeah. Can you just keep beating these bad teams? If you could sweep the Red Sox right now, I'd greatly appreciate that.
I wouldn't.
Anytime the Red Sox can get swept. Although I guess it would help if the Red Sox won.
Yeah. So
I'm in a pickle. All right. Win one of them. Win one of them like 30-0, and then lose the other 3. That works for me. Talk about the Red Sox or the Yankees?
No, dude, let's go from first to last.
a team that would be winning a different. That's a lie. They'd be second place in 2 other divisions, though.
Yeah, they would.
You want to talk about your Red Sox?
Do I? I think they're doing just as good as I think they're doing better than I thought they would be doing. So, I can't complain that much. I think, the biggest annoyance I have is watching Tristan Costas play right now, and I want an actual first baseman, a guy who can actually hit and field. And it's something they've neglected for a couple seasons now. And I'm just getting tired of watching it. It just, I like having a good first baseman, get a good power hit or whatever you want to get, dude. I just want a good, so much better. He was up at the plate a couple days ago with tie and run on third. Man, freaking batting 165, went 0 for 5 on the night. Couldn't get a hit in 5 tries, man. It's 5 attempts. Just hit one. Just one.
I will say hitting a baseball is very hard.
It's very difficult. Don't get me wrong.
I tried it, and I sucked at it.
It's super difficult. I agree. But, you're playing at the major league level. You're there. I'm just, 1 for 5 is what?
200.
200? Could have improved his batting average hugely. That's how I felt about that one. Otherwise, I think Chris Sale's been finding it, and I'm loving it. I wish Corey Kluber would
I haven't watched
I'm pretty
them.
sure he got DFA'd.
I haven't watched them a whole lot this season. It looks like this is another team, though, that's just up and down.
Oh, yeah, baby. It's a roller coaster.
Sweep Detroit, get swept by Tampa. Sweep the Angels, get swept by the Twins. Sweep the Guardians, get swept by Baltimore. Can you find that healthy medium and take 2 out of 3? Take 2 out of 4? Can you find that for me?
No, we have our 3 good pitchers, or 2 of our 3 good pitchers go. 2 good pitchers go, and the third one finds it, or we don't have either of the good pitchers going, and no one finds it. And then our offense can't do it. I want them to do it. I wish they could do it, but they can't do it. They're not that.
I haven't watched the Red Sox at all this season, which is weird.
Good.
I've usually watched them at least a little bit at this point. Rafael Devers, numbers don't look good, but what's the story there?
Nothing crazy. I just don't think he's in the best situations at times. He's the heart of the lineup at the moment. He's the only guy I think I look at that roster and go, oh, man, I got to worry about this guy. So, I feel like he's the key point of every pitcher and every defense going against him. And he's just a lefty power hitter. People, you know how to neutralize. You learn how to do it. You know what I mean? A lot of the lefties out there are the big lefty power hitters. But, that's how I really feel on that one. Because, what is it? Yoshida's around him. I think Yoshida's usually around 5th and 6th.
Doesn't look like there's any updates on Trevor's story.
No, he's out, dude.
It looks like a timeline.
I'm waiting for the other guy.
I remember when you told me it was an elbow surgery. I was like, you need to operate that you don't have him for the season.
Yeah, I know. No, I don't haven't heard anything. I don't plan on hearing anything. Who's the guy? Who's the other one that got hurt though? An outfielder. He was fucking nuking it beforehand. I can't think of his name right now. Because I don't think he was a Red Sox.
Adam Duvall?
Yeah, Duvall's. I've heard he's supposed to be back in a handful of weeks. He'll be able to add some depth to the lineup.
In 8 games, he batted .455.
I know he was killing.
That's pretty good.
He was doing, dude. He was the highlight of the team, and then he got hurt. We still found ways to win. I was like, oh, this is pretty nice. But then I also look at our division and go, oh, we're above 500 or just below 500, and we're last. So nice, but I think this is where I'm going to sit.
Alex Verdugo is hitting 300 though. Good.
No, he's him and Devers are the other 2.
Put some respect.
He's hit. Name. I think he's hit 2 walk-offs, maybe 3. He's hit a couple walk-offs this year. He's been really good down there. He's later in the lineup. I'm pretty sure he bats down there kind of low, but he's the consistent guy. I think he's the one and he was the one who kind of almost told to be the captain kind of guy when Bogarts left and stuff too, and he's kind of showing it on the field. Like he's not letting the terrible times get to him or anything. He really improves.
Brian Bello pitching to under a 2 in his last 3 starts, so
he's improving.
He's improving. Guy, I've always thought his stuff. He looked better as a reliever than a starter, but
that's my thing with Whitlock at the moment. They've been putting him in as starters, and I think he could just be such a great bullpen arm. But then, I'm sitting there looking and going, Corey Kluber's can't start another game. I don't care. And then you already got Kenley Jansen in the pen. He got the 400 save, and then the next night blew the game. In case we didn't know that. In case we didn't see that one, I went to get 401. He blew the game instead.
Corey Kluber's not listed on the roster. Was he DFA'd?
Yeah, he was DFA'd the other day. It's great. Happiest thing I heard. That man, I can't believe they kept sending him out there on the mound, dude. He had no business being out there.
All right. Well, I hope he figures it out. That's a guy I've always had a tough time cheering against, even when he was facing the Yankees.
I like him, but I think he's just past it.
I hope you figure it out.
He's an old man.
I hope you figure it out. Just not on a team I have to contend with. Go figure it out in Chicago. Go figure it out on the Cubs.
Fine with me. All right, you want to go over to your team? You ready to rant?
I don't have a rant in me.
Oh, that's news. That's different.
Yeah, it's tough to rant when the team's actually playing well, even though there's a lot of problems here.
All right, dude. Well, tell me about all the problems.
If Aaron Judge and Anthony Rizzo don't hit, I don't think this team can score.
I think that's probably true.
Yeah. And when you have 7 other spots in the lineup, that's a problem.
Uh-huh.
My big concern with this Yankees team is that they have kind of a black hole in their lineup, and it's their last 3 spots.
If that's where I'd put a black hole in my lineup, that is where I would put it.
But you don't want...
I don't want it, but I'm just saying.
Today they actually activated Giancarlo Stanton, which I didn't think was going to happen. He was raking before he got hurt. Can he get back to that?
All right, well, that's what I want to figure out for Adam Duvall in a couple weeks, hopefully.
I haven't seen Adam Duvall win an MVP before.
Okay.
I have seen Stanton win an MVP
that's fair.
before.
I'm okay with that statement.
It's just, can they keep it going? This bullpen is taxed. It's the problem this Yankees team has every year. They overuse this bullpen. And I think this is going to be a problem unless they make.
Do they do it by choice or do you think this?
It is. Yes, it's both. They have some days they're going to roll out a bullpen game, and then sometimes Garrett Cole gets hit around a little bit, goes 5 innings. You got to use 4 guys to get through it. Your decisions are made for you the next day because you don't have that many options. So
I get you.
Nestor Cortez. He needs to just figure it out. I don't know what the hell's going on with him. Against Baltimore last week, he was through 6 innings, 1 run. He allowed 5 runs in 1 inning. You got to figure out what the hell's going on. Domingo Germán, the weird pine tar or rosin stuff. I don't know what the story is there. Tommy Kahnle activated today. First time he's been a Yankee since 2020, I think he left.
Oh, okay.
Carlos Rodon.
I don't think you're getting him anytime soon.
Hope to have him by the All-Star break. I mean, it feels like there's like so many mixed reports coming out from the same source every day, and that source is the team. Some days we'll get the report, he's going to be on a rehab assignment next week, and then other days it's like, his arm fell off.
His arm
it's like Severino came back a couple weeks ago, has pitched very well since then. You hope to have him for the rest of the year. I don't think you can depend on that.
Okay.
Because he hasn't pitched a full season since 2017.
But he already missed some games.
I was in 8th grade the last time he pitched.
Yeah, but he already missed some games. It won't be a full season.
I mean, that's true. But
in theory.
He usually comes back, gets hurt again, then comes back for the playoffs.
All right. Well, that's where I'm hoping for Rodon for you.
I don't even think he'd be playoff eligible at that point.
What do you have to do to be playoff eligible?
You got to be on the 40-man roster by September 1st, and I don't think.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I think when you're on the injury list, I think you come off the 40-man.
Man, yeah, that sounds right. All right, too. Well, he has till then.
Yeah, I mean. Also, it feels like there's a real air of mistrust from Severino in the Yankees. Like that's just looking at it from the outside, it's like, yeah, I don't think either of you trust the other. Anthony Rizzo, neck injury. Hopefully, nothing serious. It was weird. Have you seen the play?
No.
All right. It was an awkward play. Fernando Tatis. There's pickoff, ran back in. Looks like he kind of jammed his neck. Hope nothing serious. It's just a couple of days ago. He hasn't played since. So kind of, I guess stay hot, and can you get one of these guys that you're no longer relying on? That was my big grievance at the end of April. You're relying on these guys in the bottom third of your lineup. You're not relying on Jake Bauers anymore. You're not relying on IKF. You're not relying on Greg Allen anymore. Can one of them get hot and be the extra hitter they got to worry about?
Yeah.
That's all I've got. You got any questions for me?
All right, Mike. Yeah.
Oh, wait. I do want to address this. The Yankees were, I guess, stealing signs in Toronto. I played a dangerous game and applied common sense to this. They're not installing cameras to steal signs in the other team's stadium.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Out of all the teams we talked about, we went through all of them.
Yep.
Out of the handful that, completely dead, what's like a surprise team that you're just out of the playoff race, don't really worry about them?
So a team that's dead that I thought would be competitive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want a team that's...
So
I don't want Oakland, Kansas City. I don't
okay.
want any of that BS. I want some real teams.
Team that's dead.
As a doornail.
It's a tough question. I think there's only one team I'm declaring dead, and it's the White Sox.
Okay.
I did pick them to go to the ALCS this year, after I picked them to go to the World Series last year, and that turned out to be very wrong.
Yeah, you didn't learn your lesson?
No, I did not.
Maybe we'll learn it this time around.
Maybe. Probably not, though. I think the White Sox is the surprising team that's dead.
You don't think they have anything to help them come back and make it?
Liam Hendricks, the easiest player to root for in all of baseball right now, just beat cancer and came back. But I don't think I see. That's the other thing is they're in the AL Central. They're only 7 games back. They're a good 2-week run away from being right in the race. So I think
it's still a hard race to win.
So I'm not going to declare the Padres dead. I don't think any team in the NL Central can be declared dead. I don't know if Philly's dead because I've seen them go on heaters before.
I would say Nationals, but they're part of the team.
Nationals were not considered
just like the Rockies. I can't do it this, and I can't do it to anyone there.
You know what?
Might be me.
I'm gonna surprise some people. I'm gonna pick a team above 500. I'm declaring the Angels dead.
You know what? Why did I know that was coming?
I'm declaring this team dead.
They just can never figure it out. Huh.
But I don't want them to fully die until after the trade deadline. I want them to have to make the decision to trade Ohtani. I want them to be like 3 games out of a wild card spot when it comes deadline day. I want them to have to decide. I want it to be a real decision, and then they trade him, and then they can fully die after that.
And then they trade him, and that's when they would fully die.
Trade him and Mike Trout. Trade them both to the Yankees.
I'll take Ohtani all day, but I know he doesn't want to be on the East Coast.
I think Mike Trout would look good in a Yankees uniform.
I don't know. Not with those pinstripes. You guys look like you're meant for jail. Gosh, that's my comment on your fucking uniforms, dude. I'm not getting into that.
And there's nothing following that up.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.